disappear within 30 seconds, a minute. Max.
Sometimes it
No,
does.
that's not true.
Well-
because the thing is, though, is that if that was the case, then why do we have cirrus clouds?
Well, I
It's
don't
the
know.
same mechanism.
But I had a question the other day. You see an aircraft go across almost exactly the same altitude. One would leave a trail, and another one won't.
But
It's 'cause
that's
it's pockets
right.
of it's because there's pockets of different humidity.
I understand that. There can be, but sometimes you think, no, wait a minute. Why with two aircraft, so you can judge that they're very close in terms of altitude and in terms of where
I
they
know
are.
what you're saying, yeah.
And why does one leave a huge contrail and the other doesn't? The thing is that you can go onto parliamentary websites, you can go onto the EU Parliament website, and you can find, because I've done it, I've been researching this for quite a while, you find detail about their knowledge about chemtrail. No, they don't call it chemtrail, it's geoengineering.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
And they're saying
things like reflecting sunlight back into space. to
yeah,
offset
and
global warming,
yeah,
kind of.
and
I've heard of all
it's
of this before,
weather
yeah.
modification, but they say it's not happening.
Fuel additives.
No, I never said it. Yeah,
No. What the websites, the parliamentary websites, suggest at times that it's just being looked at. It's been thought of, etc. And then at other times you see questions rising up, which are, well, what exactly are we doing? And it becomes apparent that where they say it is just, we're looking at potential geoengineering, right? And part of that is using the aluminium. I forget off the top of my head. I forget the elements, but aluminium's one of them. Sulfur is another. Yeah?
Use that for cloud seeding as well.
Yeah. Sulfur. Some iodide.
yeah, I think I've heard of this.
Now,
yeah.
They say on one hand it's just considerations, but then you look back to the 1950s, 60s, and you see in Parliament they're actually admitting, and this is British Parliament, they're admitting that cloud seeding was done with none of our knowledge, and it actually caused huge downpours.
Are you talking about like the Limerick disaster?
Yeah. Now they're admitting that they've done that in secret, and it's been covered up. 30-year rule. These are just facts. So if they can do that and cover it up, what a lot of people are saying is they're doing this and covering it up. And there's a lot of information out there. People are finding their water. They're putting glass jars. This is a lot in America, some here, putting glass jars in their gardens and letting the water, rainfall, and then they measure what's in it, and they're finding all sorts of stuff, huge amounts, way over the EPA, base level, or whatever, way over that. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, where is this coming from? Well, it's coming from up there. And how is it coming from up there? Well, because these elements are what we are suggesting, these people are suggesting, are in these chemtrails. To do a sort of dual job in a sense. One is to reflect sunlight, but the thing is, if they're doing it without our knowledge, then it's not been democratically done. To do it without our knowledge is just entirely wrong, because they don't have all the answers as to what effect it will have on crops, what effect it will have on our water table.
Or us as well.
Or us. And this is part of the problem. And that's why I would really like some way of getting a spectrum analysis done on these things. Some way.
I've often wondered why some leave trails and they're using the same fuel, so they can't be, can they?
No. And they're all over.
That would make a bit of sense to me.
And the thing is...
Try seeing if the sun's gone now.
The thing is, see all this cloud?
Come back up.
All this cloud has been caused by these contrails. All of it. All that you see here.
Yeah.
It's all of this. And it just... So our blue skies are just disappearing. We don't have pollution. I mean, I've also wondered how it affects you guys as amateur astronomers over the last, say, 20 years. Have you found that, you know, it's been harder and harder and there's been less and less and less clear skies?
Well, certainly, that is the case, yeah.
Yeah. Now, why is that? And they'll say, oh, it's just pollution. It said, yeah, it is pollution. And I really think that and all of this that is causing will have an impact on what you see through there, because the atmosphere is being screwed up.
It's food for thought, isn't it? It would make sense.
I know it's a bit out there. I know it is. But there's a lot of things that are out there.
But that would explain a lot of what we say, definitely.
Such as?
Well, the way some leave trails and some don't. And
Yeah.
that cannot be. They're using the same field, Jet A.
Yep.
And, well, so we thought.
Yep. I mean, there's people who have been involved in the I mean, some of this has even come out in German newscasts, you know, news media, and in US news media, they drop little hints, and at the same time, some people are coming out who have been involved in the American Air Force, for one, saying, well, they've actually seen, and there's photos of not canisters, but large sort of drums within what would look like from the outside passenger aircraft, except on the inside they're full of drums, and they've got little nozzles on the aircraft to blow this stuff out. Now, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, if you were at all interested, there's something called there's a movie that's been made called what's it called? What on earth are they spraying? Or what? It's very interesting, very, very interesting. What on earth are they spraying? You'll get it on YouTube, and then there's a follow-up. Why on earth are they spraying, or something like that? And it's just all very interesting. And if governments, because of private corporations who are potentially going to make a mint out of this, if governments are covering this up to allow these people to do this geoengineering just experimentally, but they're doing it on a massive scale.
They could trigger something that would be unthinkable.
Absolutely.
It's out of hand. It will have to look up snowball effect, won't it?
Yeah.
Could be a tipping point.
Absolutely. Have you heard of HAARP?
What is that?
HAARP. HAARP.
No.
No?
Not that particular one.
High auroral. I forget. Basically, they're beaming. There's a few HAARP sites. One is in Alaska, and it's based on. Says it's been based on Tesla technology, which beams up. And it's fact. Again, it's in European Parliament. You go, oh my God, because I never thought all this shit, right? And I thought, come on, this is ridiculous. I looked it up. European Parliament. It's there. Tons of it. Weather weapons. Literally, look it up if you don't believe me. European weather weapons.
Somebody's got it in for us.
Weather weapons. Have you got an email on there?
Yeah.
Right, because I'll just send you the link, and if you want to look at it, be my guest. Weather weapons. And HAARP is one of them. And what they're saying is they use it partly as a sort of missile shield, but it hasn't quite done that job. But they boil the atmosphere. They boil the atmosphere. They beam it up, microwaves, into the ionosphere.
Yeah, they're doing that in Norway.
That's right. They've got one in Norway.
They can trigger Northern Lights with it.
They've got one in Norway.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I've seen that work.
Yeah, but they're saying the EU Parliament asked the American government to send someone over, because it's run by the military, to send someone over to explain to the EU Parliament exactly what HAARP is, what the whole thing is about, etc., and they refused. They just refused point blank. They just said, no, we're not doing it. And the EU Parliament have listed it, among others, as a potential although I think they know better than that, weather weapon. It's madness. It's madness. But it potentially ties in with the contrailing,
Send some
chemtrail.
stuff through.
Yeah.
We'll have a look at that.
Anyway, nothing to do with astronomy, but yeah.
That's food for thought. That's really got me thinking.
I used to work for Ferranti. You know, do you know the name Ferranti? Yeah, in Edinburgh. And when I first came out of uni, and for 4 years, and God, I couldn't stand it. I was bored being an engineer just in a lab every day and doing the same stuff. It was all crap. And I used to use electron microscopes and what have you. But I got so bored with it. I was just about to get married though, and I saw this ad in the paper for a plate technician at the Royal Observatory. And I went to the Royal Observatory. I was about 24 at the time, 24, 25. And I've got a physics degree. And so I went to the Royal Observatory and had an interview, and they offered me the job. I was in front of a panel of 4, and they were throwing me all these kind of, you know.
The Edinburgh Royal Observatory.
Yeah. And it was plate technician to analyse the plates from the Australian, I forget, New South Wales, I think it was, and the Hawaiian Mauna Kea.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, this is... And they showed me plates, and I was telling them all about it, and they said, how do you know all this stuff? They said, because you never did astrophysics, you know. And what they were going to do was actually pay for me to go through an astrophysics course as well, degree. And I thought, oh, this is me, because at the time I was big on it. And I said, well, because I love this stuff, you know, I'm an amateur astronomer, so... And they were saying, well, you can answer questions that some of the guys that have done astrophysics can't, you know, this is a long time ago. And I said, well, great, good. So the letter came through and they said, we'd like to offer you the job. And I went, yes. And then I looked at the salary. And I was on about 13 grand at the time with Ferranti, and they were offering me a salary about 11.5 grand as the plate technician, because it was a government sort of band-aid thing. And they said, we can't give you we would if we could, but we can't, sort of thing. And I said, but I'm just about to get married. I can't take 2,000 from 13 to 11. And I went, look, I'd love to take this job, but I can't. And they went, well, sorry, we can't. So I went on to become a salesman. Anyhow, oh yeah, that was interesting. But no, there was a reason why I was telling you that story. Can't remember now. But then, you know, you get married, you have kids, you blah, 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 and you just life takes over. I spent 10 years in Asia and selling telecommunications networks, and this all goes to the side, you know. But it would have been great because I lived in Manila, Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore, and I'll tell you, the skies there. I mean, you've got both sides. You've got the northern and the southern hemisphere.
Of course you have, yeah.
Oh my God, the skies.
Been to Philippines,
Oh yeah, and the air is actually fresh.
Yeah, in Australia as well, stunning.
Oh yeah. And I used to walk about at night sometimes thinking, damn, I wish I'd never sold that damn thing and brought it over with me. But there you go. Anyway.
Lovely to meet you.
Listen, yeah, good to chat. And
good to chat, mate.
I didn't want to bore you or anything,
No,
but
that's real food for thought, definitely.
you know, just to get right into that. And it may be the thing is that, you know, that one's okay, but another one is not. But there's definitely something not quite right. So cheers, guys. Have a good day.